Hello. This isn't a landscape photography vlog either. But this isn't product photography this time, this is portrait photography. So I'm with a model again. This is Eliza Watson. We've been working together now for 4 hours, and this is my house still. You've probably seen some shots from here before, certainly the vlog before with Kelly, but that was in there, in the lounge. We're now in the kitchen, and I've got a backdrop set up, and this is going to be a bit similar to that last video, where I'm going to stand around and I'm going to take photos, and you're going to see me taking photos whilst you sit there. But Eliza has been modelling for quite some time, and she's very, very good at it. So, Eliza, when you're having portrait photos taken, what kind of things do you need to think about from a model perspective?
I think over time doing this, you get to understand from a model's side of things, you get to understand the best angles for your particular face. And while the photographer can make the lights perfect and he can take a perfect picture, you have to give him your best angles. Otherwise, doesn't matter how good the lighting is, doesn't matter what technique. For example, if my face is up like this, you're just going to see straight out my nose, and that's going to be distracting. Or, if my head's too far down, this is going to distort how you see my eyes and things like that, which is again going to be distracting. And I think another thing is micro expressions. Okay. Little tiny discrepancies in the way your eyes are. And when someone says smile, a big, massive, wide, cheesy smile might not be as effective or encapsulating as maybe just a little eye smile and a bit of a wry twist of the mouth, just a slight amount. I'm guilty myself of over-posing things, so yeah, they're always the best ones when they're a bit more subtle when it comes to portraiture. Anyway, that's what I found.
Okay.
But yeah, just winging it, really.
Right. Well, we all are. So when I've been working with models for about 8 months now, and I found that I try and do a little portrait set at the beginning of any long shoot, and this is a long shoot, because I think me and the model get to know each other a little bit better than if you just sort of randomly click away and sort of everyone's moving around a bit. So the boring techie bit. So I've got the Sony A7 III. Oh yeah, kit update. So the Canon M50, I've sold it. It's gone. Amazing camera for vlogging, but I've sold it. Bye. So I'm filming you now on the GH5, which I've still got for video, and this is a Sony A7 III for photography. This is the 50mm f1.8 lens. Which is the one that I got with the camera, and it's the one that I've used for about 60% of my photography now on this camera. I do also have a 35mm Sigma f1.4. I got this about a month ago and I love it. But it's not quite right for portraits. It's a little bit too wide. So even my brain can figure out that as much as I love this lens, it's not the right one. I've got 3 lights. I've got a Godox AD200 in this softbox. I've got this, do you care? I don't know, I'm telling you anyway. I've got a Westcott Medium Apollo softbox here, which I got because there's someone that I've attended a few of their workshops, and they seem to only get exactly the kit that they need and nothing else. And I always listen for each time I see him for kind of what he's got. He had one of these last time, and then as it happened, as a result of a pricing error on a website, I got it for about half price. So, so I've got that. That's the main light. The key light. Is it called a key light in modelling terms? Or is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or the main light. Yeah. I mean.
The big light.
You can tell I've been doing this for about 10 years. Yeah.
So that's the main one. It's not pointing at Eliza. It's kind of pointing past Eliza. So the idea is that the light spreads. So it gets quite a soft light, but even though I've done that, it will still cast a shadow on the side of Eliza's face. So I've got another light over here, which is weaker, but still there. So that balances the other one. So hopefully it should be nice and bright and well exposed, but not overexposed on that side of her face, and a little bit darker on that side. And then I've got a third light, which is pointing into the sort of the back of Eliza's hair and also the background to try and sort of separate her from the background. And that's about it. So we're just going to do some shots now and you're going to watch. So here we go. Yeah, get rid of your hot water. Okay, I'm going to have to turn the lights off, so I'm still here, we're still here, but... Right. Too bad, it's a bit flat actually. I think probably that one's a bit too strong.
It's nice though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's well exposed, isn't it? It's definitely you.
Yeah.
Edge it back just a little bit.
Nice sort of depth to colour. I might pop a bit of powder on my face.
Yeah, sure.
Lights tend to melt it off within the space of about 2 minutes.
Did you spot that in that? Or is that just a feeling? Okay, hold on a second. I'm not going to keep jumping in on this shoot because I wasn't really expecting this to be as much of a conversation as it was, but as soon as it became a conversation, I wanted to listen to it. So I'm gonna let it play through. Every now and again, I'm going to show you sort of post-production as we're going along. I just wanted to focus on what Eliza said just then about she's gone off to powder her face, and remember that all she saw was the back of my camera, which is like a 2-inch, 2.5 inch by 1.5 inch screen, and yet she saw it. So I'm in. This is the shot that I've just taken that she saw. And can you see how little information she was working with to figure out that she should powder her face? I mean, I didn't think either way, but so this is what she's talking about. This bit of shine up here, and this bit of shine on her nose, and it's the kind of thing that it doesn't ruin the shot at all. But you'll see in the next shot. I think I can move on. You'll see in the next shot that it does make it better. So I'm zoomed in a bit here. Obviously, let's try and get the zoom about the same. So all that's happened is that I've moved the light ever so slightly, and Eliza's gone off and powdered her face and come back. So just that little bit of powder has got rid of a bit of shine along her cheek, and just on her forehead, and just sort of along here. So she's generally evened out. So kind of I was in danger of the lights were about right, but they weren't perfect yet. But I was in danger of getting some hot spots on her face where there was just a little bit of glisten. And just by her powdering it, and then also as it happened by me moving the kind of the fill light back further, so that weakened it, it's just sort of evened off her face a bit. So what I don't want to do is get the lights into a place where I'm happy with one shot and then I take 200 shots, and then it turns out later on that, yeah, I was happy with those, but I'm not really happy with the following 199 because I'm sort of locked into what I was doing with that very first shot. So I want, it sounds odd, but what I want for this shoot is I want the lighting to be a little bit more bland. And to give me options later, because there are so many things you can do with Lightroom and Photoshop. Yeah, carry on.
It's just a little bit easier for you, I think, in editing, if I just, especially on the old forehead, it can cause a bit of glare. Do you know what I mean? Can you see?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I wouldn't have picked that up, but that's, see, you do have professional,
I suppose so.
Like,
I'm attentive when it comes to makeup. Yeah, those bits.
I've worked with about 40 models now, by the way. Eliza is one of the ones that every time I show her the back of the camera, she's always looking at what can I do better? What can I? Yeah,
that can happen sometimes. Not always a good thing, really. But,
well, it is for me because I don't know everything.
How annoying is it though? Like when you're shooting someone and you're shooting away, and then you've got the best shots, and then you look at the back of the camera and there's like a one of those little annoying things that come out your top, or a label, or so. I suppose over time, you start to go, oh, before it even happens. Yeah. So I'm probably over powdering, but
well, there's only so many things that any one person can keep track of, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so because it took me ages to figure out that I actually need to look at your hair, because the one that's going to be affected is me when I'm trying to paint it out later. Yeah. And the odd strand is all right, but it's actually bigger clumps that are a little bit unnatural that doesn't work, and you haven't got any, so we're all right.
Crazy.
And here's a perfect example of that problem. So last August, the very first model that I shot
with at home was Elbeth. Elbeth is an absolutely amazing model. Worked with her a couple of times now. I hope to work with her many times more. She's a beautiful model, very expressive. And one of her big assets is her hair, and it's very long. And but if you aren't aware of it, then sometimes it can cause you issues. So we were just doing a lifestyle set in my lounge, and here she was sat, and so she looks great. I've only touched this up minorly, just done a little bit of retouching, but I haven't touched her hair because this is what happened. So this little clump of hair, and I'm just not good enough at removing that sort of thing. So you'd think I'll just sort of clone stamp out the back, but because the background colour changes shade ever so slightly, it just becomes a bit too difficult. And when you've got loads of photos of a model and they're all pretty similar, I guess like any subject, you're looking for a reason to discount that one, so I won't use that one because of, and you end up with quite minor things. And this one, I just moved past it originally because her hair was a bit of a problem. I had other shots in which her hair wasn't a problem, so I just went with them. But it's a bit of a shame, and it's something that I'm learning to be more aware of during the shoot, because at the time I completely missed it, and so didn't use this shot.
I think as well, people can think like when you're doing model photography, there's a whole team of people.
Yeah.
And that actually isn't the case.
No.
Not often. Like unless you're shooting for a huge magazine or something. So you've got to keep on top of it yourself, and that's why it's good to regularly see the back of your camera at the same time.
And let's face it, the photographer doesn't know anything about makeup, so if they
well, they're not supposed to.
No, so we're going to rely to a certain extent on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
And we managed to talk just long enough for the flash thing to fall asleep, so I've got to wake it up. Okay, right. It's just a little bit darker on the right side.
Nice.
A bit more depth.
Yeah. Top works well, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But just to prove that it's not always the case, I mean, in this one, Eliza's hair is part of the feature of the photo, so there's no way I'm going to take it out of this shot. This popped in my head as a question actually. So I used to have a DSLR camera that obviously made sort of click, 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 click noise when it was going. This is a mirrorless camera, so it doesn't have to, but every model I've met wants the noise. Yeah. Because you know when to move,
it's
right?
our cue to move.
Yeah. So do you ever have anyone that has a mirrorless camera that it makes no noise and you can't tell?
It's really difficult. Yeah, I have had that. It's more so when you're doing locations like that and you're too far away.
Right.
So I've had the photographer make signs like every time.
As in move. So
done. Next one.
Okay.
Yeah, but I suppose as well, like. It's not always. I'm guilty of over moving too much. Like, really, sometimes you don't really even need to move that much every click. But yeah, I guess I hear the click now, and it's the cue to move. Yeah.
It seems like one of the new things in technology that no one's really thought about. Just because for weddings, I'm sure it's great that you can't hear anything, but it seems to be vital for models to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Especially with we were talking earlier about the speed that people work, and there are some that kind of click, 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 click.
Oh yeah,
click,
that's
click,
a bit too much for me.
Don't have the lights recharge for a start, so I suppose they've got.
I suppose it depends on the model, but I guess if you're doing people, as in non-models, you might want to catch them natural. Yeah. Because people tend to freeze up when they're having a pose photo. But for a model who's experienced with her posing, she doesn't really need that. So often someone will try to do a natural shot, but actually it's just disrupting the sort of flow, and you just get a weird mid. It depends.
Yeah, although sometimes there are some circumstances where I can't tell, are you moving or are you trying to move for the purpose of the shot? And so you're trying to give a flick.
Right.
Kind of, should I click it? Or, I clicked it anyway, but then you start to think, oh no, that was a bit candid. Was that meant to be? And get over those things.
I don't think it's a big
No.
I don't think it makes. Well, it doesn't make me uncomfortable when people do it. The only one time I've got uncomfortable was when I was literally having a food break. I was eating my food and the person was snapping around. I just thought, you don't want to see that, man.
awkward. But there's obviously far too much here for a single vlog, so why don't you come back another time to see the rest? Take another look at Eliza before you go.